David Hartman, owner of Fantastic Endeavors Travel Agency, Light the Spark. Yes, we are here again talking about the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, the Halcyon. My third show, our third part. This is the survival guide to the Star Wars Halcyon. All the tips you need to know before you go on your fantastic journey. So please go back and watch my other episodes on my Fantastic Endeavors YouTube channel. Please subscribe to that channel. And as always, share this feed wherever you're watching today. Like it does help me out. And leave a comment and a question. I did this question more in prime time, the show in prime time, to help you guys out and answer your questions about the Halcyon. I did a basic review, no spoilers. I did an in-depth review, lots of spoilers, lots of detail for those who love the minutia. And now I'm doing just tips and tricks so you have a wonderful time when you go, and maybe these tips will help you decide if this is for you. And my co-host, again, as announced in the post. That's right. He's back. Oh, yeah. He's excited. He said he has tips, too, for all you droids watching. It's R2-D2 in the co-host chair. Help me out today. We are talking about the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, the Halcyon. I did my voyage on March 3rd until March 5th. It is a 2-day immersive experience, a true storytelling experience. This is not a themed hotel, as I talked about in previous shows. And please, again, go watch my Fantastic Endeavors YouTube channel for my first 2 episodes. You're welcome to watch now. It does make sense, but those shows will fill in the gaps and give you a good primer of what this experience is all about. And it's truly a voyage and experience. And as you hear from me and my tips, I want to get feedback from you and questions from you and answer them here live on the air today. So where do we get started? Very good. What are you going to do before you go? So say you booked a Starcruiser. I'm a certified Starcruiser Halcyon expert. I can help you with that. Let's talk about pre-trip. What should you do? First off, buy this book on Amazon. Call it Galaxy's Edge, but it actually is the Traveler's Guide to Batuu. Batuu is the planet in the Outer Rim where Black Spire Outpost is based, and that's the lands in Disneyland and Disney Hollywood are modeled after. It is part of the Star Wars universe, modeled after between episodes 8 and 9. Important to know that if you're a Star Wars fan. If you watch my episode 2 of this 4-part series, and I'll talk about the 4th part at the end, I did make a clear case that this is not just for Star Wars fans. This kind of experience is for many different kind of people. Dinner theater people, fans of the Westworld show or movie or book. People are into gaming, into escape rooms, and people who just love good quality entertainment. So buy the book, do the research, and part of also is too, you can schedule things in your excursion to Batuu, which is part of your Starcruiser experience. You can schedule those starting 60 days prior to your voyage date. And that's Oga's Cantina. There's a mission you can do in Oga's. It's not like your normal Oga's visit. And I'll go into that in detail as I go through my tips and tricks. And then if you want to build the droid, I don't recommend Savi's workshop. It takes a little too long. I would say that on another journey to Batuu and Black Spire Outpost. But get those things scheduled. I scheduled late and they had space available. I just missed my notice. And they hold space just for Starcruiser guests, which is phenomenal. And in pre-trip, also, watch Star Wars Force Awakens. That's right. He's in Force Awakens. He did a great job in that movie. Okay, he promised not to go into deep sleep today like he was in that movie when they found him. But yes, because this is the land space. You're going to see Rey. Again, I talked about my previous episodes. You're going to see Kylo Ren. Chewbacca's on board. Chewbacca tried to recruit me as I was an X-Wing pilot, as you saw on the cover post for this video. And that's an important primer. Technically, it takes place between 8 and 9, like the lane you're going to, but you can get by without doing 8. 7 will give it enough, or watch both and get excited. Next tip, start using your data pad prior to your voyage. What is a data pad? That is a cell phone with a Disney Parks Play app installed. That is a different app from the Disney My Experience app you use to manage your theme park visits in Walt Disney World. This is the Parks Play app, which was timed mostly for kids. They had it for Galaxy's Edge. It kind of worked okay. Now it's a massive download, 800 megabytes, almost a gig. And now it works well. Imagine that, a Disney app that works well. Yeah, I was surprised too. R2's frustrated with Disney apps also. This app actually works, and I'm going to tell you in a minute that they give you a data pad on board. Use that instead. Free up your phone for more fun stuff. But start to use for the Voyage. It'll tell you what functions are available before you're actually on board. Once you're on board, all the channels and functionalities opened up, and it's amazing and exciting. That is a big part of your trip is technology. Getting dressed up is an option for this voyage. This is storytelling. It's a 2-day immersive storytelling experience. And plan your costume wisely. Thankfully, I had producer Bonnie. She was Rey, a version of Rey, and I was an X-Wing pilot thanks to her shopping prowess. And I was myself, but I would say be unique. Develop an own character. You could be someone else. Some guy was the general from Rogue One who was after the planner of the Death Star. If you saw that movie, and he looked just like him, so he pulled it off, and he was that way the whole trip. I was an X-Wing pilot, but I was my own pilot. I was Pilot Dave. Woo-hoo. And I absolutely loved doing it. And then pick your path. What role will you play? Even if you don't get dressed up, get involved in the story. And there are 3 main roles, which I covered on my last cruise. Oh, yeah. R2 says he'll just be himself. I agree. You're okay with doing that. The 3 roles are, just in quick review, you can fight for the Resistance, like myself, an X-Wing pilot. Fight for the First Order, or be a scoundrel, be in between, play a double agent. And these are roles you first pick on your app before you go, answering some questions. And then more so, you do it on board, interacting with this technology and interacting with the people on board, which I'll go into in detail. I'm going through these tips as you plan your trip and as you get close to going on board. And it's going to roll through chronological order as I experienced them and thought of these. And I went to great detail. This is a full page on a legal pad for you guys. So hope you enjoy it. Leave me a comment, chat, what you think of these tips. And is this vacation for you? A voyage to outer space. Next tip, arrive early to space transport by noon. So check-in time is 1 o'clock. Checkout time for them is 11 or even earlier, 10 o'clock for the previous crew. They do 2 days back to back to back. And by the way, despite the price point, they are sold out through June. And they've now opened up the end of the year. I'm already planning a return in a Galaxy suite and bring more people on board because I want to experience a bigger suite and want to play a different version. And just there's so much I could more to do. No trip is the same, and it is repeatable, guaranteed. But arrive by noon. You'll wait around the front for a while, but at least you'll get on there early. You have more time to do things. A lot goes on, even though it's a small spaceship. A lot goes on. As I go through these tips, you'll see why. There's a lot to do, a lot to see, a lot of fun to have. Get there, get early. We pulled up kind of around the time they wanted us there, and it was a cluster with valet, which they've straightened out since then. We got put in the back of the line, but we still got on board. But we could have been earlier, and learning experience on my part. I'll now share my experience with you. Get there by noon, just wait around, and be one of the first ones on board. Use your data pad they give you. As of right now, they are giving you a data pad at check-in. What is this? It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone with the Disney Parks Play app loaded and the My Disney app loaded. You don't need the My Disney app. Just log in. Use your My Disney login to the Disney Parks Play app. That becomes your data pad, overtakes that phone. Leave your phone for limited pictures and video. I'll go into that why at the end. And also, if you have to manage anything, full internet on board, you can reach home back on Earth if you need to. I recommend avoiding that. And especially when you're in Batuu on your excursion, you will be fully immersed in there. And and also it's a very immersive app. It's a very intensive app, and it's a resource hog. So but if you use your phone and you keep going back and forth, and when it's open, it's hard to get the other apps. Use what they give you. Return when it's done. It doesn't cost you any money. Take advantage of a free experience while you're there. Once you're involved in the data pad and the Disney Parks Play app, and this version of it is just for this voyage, follow the schedule on your data pad and stay on schedule. That's right. This is a regimented experience. Yeah. Oh, yeah. R2 says he loves schedules. Well, her life's being on schedule. It's very important to be like R2 and have a regimented routine because you don't want to miss anything. This is not a sit back, put your feet up, enjoy a pina colada. All those are great places to do that. The bar is awesome. You can bring your own booze. I'll talk about in a minute. There's no pool. There's no fitness center. There's no leaving, exception if you're a smoker, which I don't want to talk about. The one tip, by the way, there's no smoking on board, but you could leave, go back to Earth and smoke. Get involved, follow the schedule, pay attention to the data pad, and do what they say. You'll get the full experience. And after 2 days, you're like, whoa, that was awesome. Had enough, gotta chill. Next tip, as we roll down, these are my tips and trips, if you just joined us, for the Star Wars Halcyon, the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. The Halcyon cruise ship just opened March 1st. You enter near Walt Disney World Hollywood Studios. You transfer a light speed to Shangelia with a Starship Space. Then you go on a cruise to Batuu and back. It is awesome. And I'm going through what I learned, my numerous tips and tips for you guys. Please leave me a comment in the chat what you think. Use your discretion on the ship for the tour and orientation. You get on board, and if you saw the videos from my show last week, Emily checked us in. Definitely have to go through that. Definitely have to verify your room's ready. Then they offer you a ship tour, and they offer you a deeper orientation. I didn't do those. I want to run around and get pictures and videos for the shows for you guys, for a business, because I was working. But if you're into minutia and details and really want to be handheld, I would do these orientations. You could get by without them, but I do recommend, doing them. R2 said that, yes, he'll lead you on a tour. I appreciate that, R2. He's the man. After you get oriented, after you check in, I didn't change into my costume till dinner. I said, there's too much going on. It'll take too long to get into. I have to get to another ship. And already the data pad told me where to go. Plus, we had to eat. Lunch is provided as soon as you get there. So interact with the characters early and often on board. Yes, of course. Yes, including R2. Oh, don't be sad. Okay. He's happy now that you're going to interact with on boards. And there's a different R2 unit on board, but you may see R2 in the droid races, or you could bring R2 back yourself from Batuu. Now, interaction is key, and now it's all about the story. The ship is beautiful, as you see in the bridge here, the atrium. I mean, the videos, again, watch. I'm not doing any videos this week except for that Lightspeed tizzy to get you guys going. It's an amazing, amazing thing they built. The ship, the Voyage, it's not a hotel. It's awesome to experience, but while you're there is the story, and being about the story is interacting with the people on board, the crew, and the true talent. The First Order, the captain, the cruise director, Yasajas, the engineer, Chewbacca, Sajas, and Gaia, the performer. These people are professionals there to show you a good time. The more you get involved with them, the more you get involved in the missions. I guess I wasn't interacting enough because my missions were slow to develop. But man, by day 2 after Batuu, I was very active on missions. I'll talk about that towards the end. Stay tuned for that. Did my missions pick up? Bam, getting invited here, getting invited here, getting invited there. So you can sit back and just enjoy, hang at the lounge and watch other people, but you're not going to get your full out of it. Listen, this is an expensive experience. To me, my first show is called Worth Every Penny. To me, it is. For what they offer, it's unbelievable. There's nothing else like it. We knew that when they were hyping it, and it over-delivered. But you have to take advantage of it. It's all about the story. Interact with the characters early and often. Now, when you first check in, those are kind of tips as you get on board. Limit your Sublight lounge experience to 1 cocktail upon arrival. R2 is laughing at that clip. He loves Sublight Lounge, as do I. Okay, you'll have plenty of time for Sublight Lounge after dinner, before dinner, when you're not running around doing missions on the ship or helping out one of the missions on board with one of the main characters. But get out there and get oriented and get checked in and do everything you need to do. I did 2 cocktails because I'm doing a show about it tomorrow at 5 o'clock for my Disney Day Drinkers Club with Jen and Jeff Carter, members of that club who also sailed on the Halcyon after me. And that's our 4th installment we're doing. And I kind of got rushed after that. I met a guy named Kevin, who's a D33 member. If you don't know, it's Google. It's an exclusive club. And he got priority in booking. He booked back-to-back. He was the second one. He was giving me tips, which was a great learning experience, but I got a little casual. I love Sublight Lounge. I love that bar. I want to go back. And I kind of felt behind. So just get one drink, experience it, move on. You'll have plenty of time later. It's open late, and there's plenty of times in between dinner and your missions to do that. Moving on. Explore the ship upon arrival. As I was saying, get checked in, get your stuff. Don't worry about your costume just yet, unless it's a light one you already have on. Plenty of time before dinner to showcase yourself. Yes, R2. They can showcase themselves anytime they want. I'm just giving them a tip. But explore the ship. It's a small space overall. The big atrium, but get to know feel. I got some great footage of the bridge empty when I first checked in. Get there early, get on board early, and check things out. Get to know where things are. Play with the panels. Get the missions going. Get your data pad going, and get to know where everything is. The ship's kind of confusing. It kind of turns on itself, like what's front, back. The cabins are on these levels. Get to know all that on board. Then get involved in what the schedule where to go. I love being told where to go. I'm an organized person. And with this data pad and this app, it was fantastic. Very critical. Check into your room, get settled, get unpacked, get there early to allow time to do that, and then get back out and enjoy the ship. When you're in the room, there is D309, this interactive droid interface in a panel. And you hit a button, you scan your magic band they give you, by the way. They give you a band just for the cruise. And it does work for other returns back to Disney World. And this interactive droid talks to you, speak clearly, and they interact. And one of my blogger friends did a half-hour feed back and forth. And when you're ready to go, let her know. She'll be there later. But my one faux pas is I thought that was just a plaything. I didn't know that was a true AI. And he said he's the true AI. No, you love her, don't you? She's a she. It's D309. R2 loves her too. So get involved with D309. It's fantastic, amazing technology. Take sabacc lessons. Again, part of these things when you come on board. This may be the early part of day one after you get back on board, but know the schedule. And if there's some time, take sabacc lessons and play sabacc in Sublight Lounge. I never found time for lessons, but I did get to play in that big area in Sublight Lounge. You'll see on tomorrow's show, by the way, on my Day Drinker show for Sublight Lounge. And the guys next to me kind of taught me in 5 seconds. I play cards, so I'm pretty good. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get the hang of this. Very cool game. Very simple. Play it. It's fun. There's a space bingo game on board. I would avoid that. I didn't play it, but I was like, it's just like bingo. It's something more for the families to do because there is a little bit of downtime. Plus, this is a cruise. This is a Starship Voyage, and they have typical activities you'd find on most other traditional ocean cruises. Very important. Get out there. Everyone's in a good mood. No one's complaining about what they paid for this cruise. It's wonderful. And there's some really cool people on board, people that really get into it. Make some friends. Yes, R2. R2 said, please make friends with him. Really? Okay. Now he's excited. You'll be his friend. So he wants to sit with you at dinner. We have met some great people. David Preston and his wife and her father-in-law was there. We're talking. Oh, I know Key Largo. I fish here. He knows my friend Tim Kirshner in town. So we're texting Tim like, oh, my God, I'm hanging out with David Preston. He went to college with him. So small world. Have fun. Make friends. But when you sit down for dinner, it's not really assigned. So make some friends before and if you're a small group. And that way you're not just sitting down with strangers. And just a little tip from me. Now, moving on, as your voyage develops, you've had dinner, you've enjoyed the first night, you went to Sublight Lounge. I recommend going to bed early. I don't write this down, but go to bed early the first night so you can really get up early the next day because you'll see why in a minute. You're going to plan your wardrobe and go early to about 2 and catch that 7 a.m. breakfast for a reason. So when you're planning, when you go to bed that night, make sure you dress wisely on excursion number 2. Why? Batuu is a hot environment most of the year. It's warm. It's concrete. I was there in mid-March in my X-Wing outfit, which is all like nylon. And I'm like, woof, I don't have my usual hat on. Everyone knows me for. And I was like pretty hot. Wasn't going to wear my helmet. And even though it was a cool mid-March, early March day, I got a little warm. So you may want to have a secondary costume for that too. Very key, very important. Why go to bed early? Take that first transport to Batuu. Watch my videos on both previous shows, the Worth Every Penny show and the deep dive immersion show about is this Halcyon Star Wars experience for you. I cover videos on both of them, and an empty Batuu. Because you're there at quarter of, you get a line at 7:30. They checked us in. We got on the first show at 7:45, 15 minutes early, by the way. And wow, I mean, no one's in there. We have land to ourselves, and I'll tell you what to do once you're on board, how to plan your trip. Very critical. And it's very important to stay in that land. I'll talk about it in a second. Stay in Batuu and stay in character. Yes, you can leave this fantasy land of Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Galaxy, and go to Toy Story Land or go to Baseline Tapas for a beer, do the Muppet Ride. Do that on a different trip to Walt Disney World. Stay in character, stay in Batuu. I did, and I never enjoyed Galaxy's Edge so much. The app for me in the past didn't work. I didn't understand it. Now that I was involved and immersed in this culture, this experience, I totally got involved in all the missions, all the activities, and it's endless, all the things you could do with the puzzles and the scanning, the messages. It all adds to your rank as far as what you could obtain, which adds to your missions and interactivity back on board the Starcruiser on the Halcyon. Yes, R2. Oh, he's complaining, Evan. Yeah. He's like, why can't I go on Batuu? Appreciate coming on. See more and more coming on. I'm doing my tips and tricks, my survival guide to the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, the Halcyon, in my 3-part of a 4-part series show. Again, if you're watching this, enjoy the tips, but watch my shows on my fantastic Beverages YouTube channel the previous Sunday nights on my first review, worth every penny, and my is a Star Wars Halcyon for you as you keep joining. I see the numbers keep clicking up, so appreciate being on. Looking forward to your comments and questions. Everything you do on Batuu is part of the story. Okay? You'll have plenty of time to get the rides. You have express rides for Rise Resistance and Smuggler's Run Millennium Falcon. Get those out of the way, get them done, and then get involved in the missions. And there's characters. There's characters on board, the characters in the data pad. The people you already interact with on board will interact with you personally on the data pad, which is so cool. This app and technology and everything on the ship works so well. Wow, so impressed. And of course, that means using your data pad to the max on Batuu. And of course, R2 loves technology. Yes, you do. He loves the data pad because he interacts with it all the time. It's his life. Man, I mean, again, this is why leave my phone for other things and pictures and videos, and I'm boom. I am hitting the data pad, doing the missions, doing the puzzles, doing the transmissions, find out where to go next. It sends you all over. That's why it's important you do get those rides out of the way first, because obviously the express lines will be even shorter when there's nobody there. Get there early, get on board, enjoy an empty Batuu. And the Rise is the Rise Resistance because that's a mission in itself. And I love that ride for that. It completes that whole land. The Smuggler's Run, you will get a surprise on board. Some bloggers have recorded. I noticed it in passing, but since you scan your data pad, you get a special message from Hondo and Naka pre and on your mission. I thought that was a phenomenal job of the Imagineers. It customizes that experience to your Galactic Starcruiser experience. Ride Rise first, ride the Falcon second. You can schedule your Ogas. I would do it earlier than later. If you do a droid experience, I wouldn't do Savi's. I don't recommend it. It's too long. Do the droid experience. You can, whatever merchandise you buy, you can put where you checked in at Batuu. There's a whole gated area with people from the crew, from the ship who helped me get my Cantina Chronicles I talked about in prior shows. I'll talk about more at the end. And that's right. Well, don't forget. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. R2 says, hey, if you build a brother or sister like him, you can build it early, take an early appointment, leave it with the people who are monitoring your crew from the ship, monitoring your excursion, taking care of you. And they have a whole big box because they need it. People are buying so much merch there. They open it up. I put my R2 in right here, and he was very comfortable in there before I brought him back on board the ship. As I used the holding open for merchandise, I just discussed that. That was a phenomenal benefit. I found out too late in the game. But now when you schedule, don't worry. You don't have to go shopping and carry it around because you need your hands. You don't want to put something down and leave a very valuable artifact you discovered on Batuu. Maybe something in Doc Ondor's Den of Antiquities. Yes, I know. You love that place. I know. We all love Doc. We miss him too. Very important. The one free beer the whole trip. Drinks are included. Blue milk, green milk, soft drink included. Awesome hot chocolate on board the ship's included. Food's phenomenal. I covered that in previous shows. Again, I'm not going to go into it again here. Awesome. Follow some other bloggers who disagreed. Sorry. Everyone on my ship was raving about the food, and most bloggers agreed with me. Unbelievable, especially the dinners. But wow. Free booze with this food voucher, and it's not either or. So even though you're going to eat on board, which one of my tips coming up, because it's unique food and the food's unique day 2 versus day 1 for lunch, you're going to use it at either Ronto Roasted, which is easiest, and no more mobile app. You could use mobile app, could use either, or go to Docking Bay 7. Docking Bay 7's bigger meals. Just go to Ronto Roasted, get a Ronto wrap, nibble on it, and get your free drink. They have a great free drink there, $13, $14, free. Oh my God, booze included. For once, Disney's including booze. And the same thing in Docking Bay 7. I know they have the beer, some of the famous beers you get in Oga's, and they have a mixed drink or two too. I'm not sure which ones. If anyone watching down in the chat, if you know that mixed drinks at Docking Bay 7, they did change recently. So it doesn't work at Oga's. There you got to pay your own way. But there is a mission when you go to Oga. So make sure you schedule that. It's part of your experience going to Oga's, and Oga gives you a mission. And the servers there are involved with that. That was impressive. And of course, I did it. You guys too. He's like, wait, don't start moving. Don't start moving on me. He's like, I wasn't even in Batuu. I stayed in the ship. Said, well, true. His memory was wiped. But R2 was built on board. I hadn't done that experience before. I've done a workshop before, and I decided to build an R2 unit to have for the show and to have to play, and for the droid races on board. And I played that video on my first show, my review, my Worth Every Penny show from 2 weeks ago on my YouTube channel. So do it. Get involved. And when you race them, you get to race 2 types. And man, those BB-8 droids are hard to race. But maybe build a BB-8, whatever you want. There's 2 different styles. Do it. You have time to do it and still get back on board, because you want to be back actually before noon. There's an activity at noon I highly recommend called Cantina Chronicles in Sublight Lounge with amazing cast members. And Emma was our teacher, going through different drinks. I'm going to go to that more in detail on my Disney Day Drinkers show tomorrow, exclusively for that group. Got to be in that group. Join them. We'll approve you by being a member of this following here. We'll definitely approve you for that group. And they go through all these different drinks, both non-alcoholic and alcoholic. Wonderful experience. Not many people. It was just free for all. Show up. Then they made it, you have to have a reservation. I didn't know that. And I said, we don't get back for Chronicles. Do you have a reservation? And the crew member in Batuu with me called the ship and got me a reservation. No sweat. Got on board. Boom. Man, more and more people coming on there, enjoying the discussion. Thank you, guys. But you want to get back on board by noon. And that's in pre-reserve. It's just I mentioned that. You want to get back on board by noon for a lot of reasons. Again, you'll eat on board again later, but there's so much going on. The emphasis of your voyage of the ship. It's your first time to Batuu, I understand. Plan a longer trip. I know this is expensive enough already. Plan 2 days to go back to Hollywood Studios and enjoy Galaxy's Edge as just a earthling going to a land for an afternoon, not a person on a voyage involved in an intergalactic mission and experience. Stay in the land, stay in your lane, stay in character, stay in the story, get your things done and get back on board, because the ship is where everything happens. And this is a thing you probably only do once, where you could always do Batuu again in Galaxy's Edge. That's my big tip there. And man, I'm so glad we rushed on board, because that Cantina Chronicles was so much fun, so chill, so relaxed. And from there, we had plenty of time to get involved in our missions. And boom, our data pad started talking to us. Bam, bam, bam. And that's why you're going to check your data pad. That's right. He says, check with R2 also. Check with your droid. He's going to have advice for a mission for you. R2 is by my side wherever I went. I loved it. Check your data pad, because it's going to start popping. And what's cool, you get notices, you get messages, direct messages from crew members you interacted with, ones that want to interact with you, telling you where to go, telling you what to do. They know what you did on Batuu. Everything you did is tracked and rewarded. The voyage with Hanako, scanning the different cargo, running around the missions they send you on from previous discussion on the ship, Rising and Rise Resistance. That's all credit for rewards and other more missions and activities when you get on board. Absolutely fantastic. I can't tell you how well this is planned. I can't tell you how well the technology worked. I can't believe I'm saying that about a Disney app. Yeah. R2 can't believe it either. He's been working with Disney for so long to straighten out their technology. So it works so well. And the best thing it did was it spread people out. We had a Voyage with Ray, which I played on my immersive show, my episode 2 show about the Star Wars Halcyon. And there was Ray and just like 5 or 6 of us. Ray, the main character, who's everyone following on the ship in droves, because everyone got put somewhere else in their mission. Now, some missions they're on the schedule, go do them, and I'll talk about that in a second. Besides that, you're going to be sent place to go, and you're going to be excited. And it ramps up to a grand finale on day 2, which I covered in depth on my show last week. Eat a late lunch because the food's unique. I mentioned that before. Snack on Batuu, like 11 o'clock or so. Get a breakfast wrap. I'm not a huge fan of the Ronto wrap, but because of a little spicy for me. I know everyone loves it, but the breakfast wrap is a home run. So get that, boom. And then get back on board. And then we get hungry again. I always had late dinner, and you can request that through your travel agent when you make a reservation. And ideally you get that, or request when you get on board, say, hey, I'd rather have late dining, and see if they could change that in your schedule. You just can't show up because it will mess up the timing of your mission. So make sure, use the app, have a plan, watch the schedule, stay on schedule. Participate in all bridge trainings. Oh, here we go. All right. I don't want to argue with you. Oh, he loves the bridge. He wants to go back. Well, you're on the show right now. We're on the bridge. He wants to go into light speed again. All right, we'll go into light speed in the show. Is that fair? I think the comments say they agree. But I get some comments where I say, light speed. That was awesome. So, guys, more questions. I appreciate the comments and everything, but I want to see questions from you about what I'm talking about and saying, hey, this is unique. It may not be for you, but watch my show last week to find out. I know the price point is off the chain, but the value is there. My point is it's worth every penny to me because the value is there. It's such a unique experience. It's so high-end white glove, and it's so immersive. It's unlike anything I've ever done. If you follow my Facebook page, I've done a lot. Watch all live performances, and I give an example because I missed this one. Buying merch for someone on board. Don't do that. I had a little snafu on board with the merchandise shop, which I love that shop. I'll talk about that in a second. But Sweets and Treats is to round out your night. They actually had a surprise live performance there. I missed because I didn't stay long enough to see it. And I was like, bummed. Like, oh, man, I saw it on some of the bloggers' videos. I'm like, oh, I wanted to see that. All the performances are amazing. I know some YouTubers commenting on my YouTube. I just laugh at them because they haven't done it. Oh, yeah, I can tell by this video that sucks. Like, no, you can't. Everyone on board loved it. The bloggers I follow loved it. Gaia, her sidekick, Kronik, whatever his name is, forgot his name. What's her name? I'm forgetting the names of people. Watch the videos from last week. The droid from the original Star Wars that got shot by Han Solo, same type of alien, was her musician. She was amazing. They all were amazing. They're just amazing people. And you think they're all just singing the track in the dinner show I showed you. But then they go to the atrium, and it's just acoustic. This guy playing guitar, her manager, and Gaia. And like, this, people can sing. And I was telling someone here in Key Largo where I live, and their daughter's friend is one of the guys on board. And they said, oh, she's a very talented lady. So take them all in. It's worth it. This is entertainment on board. And imagine that, phenomenal cruise ship entertainment. A decade ago, it wasn't like that. Okay. This is going to piss off R2 a little bit, but ease off the videos and pics. You're paying a lot for this experience. Get into it. Now, pot calling the kettle black. Look what I did. I'm on my 3rd show, one more to go. Tons of videos, even though like just a little one today. I mean, I have so much content, but I was doing that for a reason, to experience you guys, to help you guys decide if it's for you, because I want to sell this to you of something that you want to purchase. If it's not too expensive, I totally understand. But, don't take my example as the way to do it. Do a few things. You got my content. You got even guys more involved than me out there filming the whole time, doing everything. Go back and experience those afterwards. But enjoy yourself. Get involved. Use your phone for some moments. Avoid home if you can. Use that second data pad they give you when you check in, and stay in the story. Get lost in the story. Oh, he's getting tested. That means, okay. That doesn't mean they ignore you, R2. Okay. He's happier. Just take some pictures of R2. Okay. I get it. Now some kind of like looking back tips. Tipping guide. Tipping guide. they tell you only food service included in your price. There's a lot included. The food's included. The experience are included. The two Batuu, the theme park ticket. I'm a pass, but the theme park ticket, the Batuu is included. And they do scan your band. They make sure you have a ticket. And that's included, that's a nice, that's $150 value, whatever, depending on the day of the year. And then they said tip is included, but just for food service. I couldn't tip my luggage porter who gave stuff to the room. They even found stuff I'll talk about later in a minute. Stay tuned. There's a funny story coming you're going to love. So that was the confusing. So bartenders, you're going to tip on your tab. So just keep in mind, you don't tip the talent, you don't tip the food service, but definitely tip the valet. And that's about the only ones I can think of that really, really need it. Everyone else on board is part of the story. And by the way, everyone you're with stays on the Halcyon full time. They have a deck gate you can't get to, and they stay there. So these are not day people flying off and staying around. They stay immersed too, which really adds to the experience, by the way. But, again, tip the people what you can tip. And, when you check in, clarify them, say, hey, what's your tipping culture on board? Merchandise shop is awesome. It's all unique. There are two, not just one, but two. I know, R2 loves merch. That's right. Make sure to bring home one R2 from Batuu all on the way. That's merchandise. They also have a special droid inside the, don't tell R2. I don't want to piss him off. Excellent, unique merchandise. I got some over here. Pardon me. Actually, I'll show R2 as I reach. Oh, he's like, don't delay the show, Dave, with your merch. All right. Fine. This is awesome. I thought this was just the plate for the ship. Usually inaugurals have plates. I have a plate from the Westerdam, Holland America Westerdam, now considered a small ship 20 years ago. We got a nice plate on that Voyage. They gave it to us in our rooms. I still have that on my shelf downstairs. This is actually a shield for your lightsaber training. It's only available in the shop there or from people who got a free trip early on and sold it on eBay, which Disney's horrified about right now. But this is cool. So this is how you block. In the training, you protect the person light and fighting it from you, take turns. It was in the video on my episode 1 of this series on the Halcyon. So pretty cool. Real neat stuff. So I bought this. Actually, Producer Bonnie bought it for me for bringing it around the cruise just because it looked cool. I didn't realize it was actually a piece of something you use on board. And it was unique merch on board. That's the onboard merchandise shop. And then when you exit morning of, that one's closed. And there is a small T-shirt shop with some other unique stuff on board below because they didn't want to have like a T-shirt shop on board, but great costumes on board. I did buy something for a member of our Dave's Disney Drinking Club, fastest growing club on Facebook, 14,000 members and growing strong, almost 15. And that actually, even though I did that for her and she appreciated it, I don't recommend doing that because I got caught up and trying to figure out what size and the size. And then there's a problem with my card because it was checkout night and I ended up missing half a Sweets and Treats. So just shop on the downtime and enjoy it. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay. Very important pack and dip for all you Disney day drinkers out there. Yeah. Well, back to merchandise. R2 wants to talk about merchandise more. No more merchandise. And I got more things here I could show you, but this you get with checking in. And everyone wears that. So if you see someone in Batuu on your own mission when you're on a day trip to Hollywood Studios, if you see someone on a pin like that saying, hey, are you on the Halcyon? How's your experience going? And then just listen for their reaction. You'll be amazed. Next up, big tip. You can, just like any cruise in limited fashion, or just like actually checking into a Disney hotel, you could bring cases of beer. I've had 2-bedroom suites where we've had the fridge full of beer. They don't care. That's where you're staying for a few. That's your welcome home. Pack beverages, but no corkscrews. So we had 2 coolers, one full of beer, one full of water. The water one made it. And Bonnie had a computer bag for her work, and neither one showed up. She's freaking out. No computer. I'm freaking out. No beer. I had my computer. Didn't care about that. I said, where's my beer? He's laughing. He said, I don't need beer. He just needs oil. It turns out we had corkscrews. I had a corkscrew. I was keeping my beer cooler, my little Coleman cooler I had that's now fading away. And Bonnie had his corkscrew she forgot about in her computer bag. And they decided last minute before March 1st, without telling anybody, no corkscrews allowed. It's like, wow, thanks. But hey, they put them in our car. And it's valet. So valet's included, by the way. I forgot to mention that. One tip, take advantage of valet, get there early. And then they brought us the coolers, and I had beer. And I will say the cooling box, it's not a refrigerator, it's a cooling box, is a bit small compared to other hotels you've been to, other Disney World hotels you've been to. Although this is not a Disney World hotel, this is a whole other different story. So pack wisely and then rotate if needed. We had a bottle of wine in there. We had a Prosecco, and we were just rotating constantly. Water, they have a great water station with 3 different kinds, with gas, without gas, and then actual seltzer water from 3 different taps right in the atrium. And they give you water glass to use while on board. And full room tour on a plug for my review show. It's Worth Every Penny show from 2 weeks ago. Check that out on my YouTube channel. So yeah, just pack wisely. But I brought about 8 beers on board, and they came in handy because the ship is day drinker friendly. Wherever you had a drink, we carried them. In the bridge, they're going to make you put it on a table because they don't want you spilling on this expensive equipment behind me here. And yes, and that's right. No, we're not going to make you a server again like in Tatooine with Jabba. He hated being a server for remember Return of the Jedi? Can't say movies to him, but no. He's had no. Don't put drinks on the droids. There's a table on the side. I actually had one. I had my beer that they didn't notice it. No big deal. But then they caught me the second time around. Make sure you participate in all these things that you do. And one thing I want to emphasize again, I may have missed, I'll say it again. Use all the bridge trainings. I'll say it again. Of all the things I did, I'm so thankful for. I read something that said, like, learn your co-pilot. I think it was like a newlywed game show. But I showed the bridge and they let us in. Normally you're invited on a mission. There's a first day. It's really come on board. They schedule a time. Again, you have a unique schedule. You have a unique interface, and it's your schedule is yours. Use it similar to your co-pilot. If you and your co-pilot, your partner on the ship, are doing different missions or different roles, scoundrel, resistance, or first order, then you may have different places to go. But participate in all the ones available. I did 3, and man, they were all different experiences, all different missions at the end. The last 2 were true like ships getting taken over by the First Order. All full videos of that on my review last week, my deep dive, my Is the Halcyon for you. So that's it. Those are my tips. I covered a lot today. If you're just catching this now, rewind it, watch it on recording, and subscribe to my Fantastic Endeavors YouTube channel where all my weekly travel shows, Disney and travel oriented, are there. We've done a really deep dive on Enjoy the Journey. I felt it was just worthy because this is a luxury product. This is a true experience you need to hear more about. It was worthy for that show. I'll go back to normal travel next week on that. I got some great stuff in the Keys we did recently to cover. It's going to be awesome. My last part of this, the part 4, will be tomorrow at 5 o'clock with Jen and Jeff Carter, members of our Disney Day Drinkers Club. Join that club on Facebook. Just search for it. I'm a founding member with Skip Shear. I'm an admin of that group. We gained 8,000 members last month, and used to see how many members today are posted from Epcot, including Leslie Wiseman with my youngest fan, Teddy. He can't watch today because she's in Epcot. Have fun, Leslie. We're thinking of you here. She'll watch the show recording. As always, when you watch this on recording, this has been my survival guide to the Star Wars Halcyon. You saw my contact information below. I won't show it again, but if you know how to reach me, 305-453-9208, dave@bucketwishtrip.com. Or direct message me here wherever you're watching this on social media or on YouTube. And yes, I'm a Disney travel specialist. I do this to promote my agency, but I do this more to educate you, to see if it's something that you want to do. Watch these shows, go back and watch all of them. It'll really give you a full idea of whether or not you want to save money for something like this. It is truly, truly unique. And for those of you day drinkers, hope you enjoyed our tips, before you go to the Halcyon. That's what we covered today. Stay tuned for episode 4 tomorrow. And as you watch this on recording, like it, share it, helps me out. Leave the comments. I always check them after the fact and answer your questions. You guys have a great Saturday afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow, live back in the Halcyon with Skip Shear, Jen and Jeff Carter, covering everything that's served creative, all the cocktails served in Sublight Lounge here on the Halcyon. We'll see you then. Have a good night. Light the spark. Ignite the fire.